Interesting night ahead, interesting few weeks ahead. Scottish football always has plenty of drama, always delivers a story. The action is just about to get underway as soon as anything happens, and there'll be plenty happening, I'm sure, in the game at Tannadice. We'll bring that to you. Also some games in the Championship and the Challenge Cup tonight. We'll bring you goal news from these games as well. But our commentary match this evening comes from the Falkirk Stadium. It's the Bairns up against Hibs with Ian McCall and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. Incentives aplenty for Falkirk and Hibernian tonight. Both have made decent starts to their league campaign, but a win would surely ignite it. For Falkirk, a win would take them above Hibernian on 7 points and potentially into third, depending on what United do at home to Aberdeen tonight. But Hibs, for them, a win would take them on to 9 points, just 4 behind Celtic and Hearts, who they play away from home in their next 2 games. So with that in mind, David Gray's side could really do with a victory here at the Falkirk Stadium, yet to keep a clean sheet in the league. And now would be a good time to start. Falkirk looking for their first home league win of the season, and it's a packed Falkirk Stadium. 5,500 season ticket holders at Falkirk, a sleeping giant for many years. Now they're back in the big time, looking to make an impact. Hibs kick us off in their yellow away top with the green shorts and yellow socks, and immediately Jamie McGrath coming forwards into the Falkirk half and gives it to Josh Mulligan, who's got 2 Falkirk players on him and no one to pass to, and it's a good challenge from Leo McCann, and out for a throw-in to Hibs just in Falkirk territory, thrown to the feet of Chaiwa, but he dallies on the ball and then loses it. Gets it back though, past to Bashiri at the back. Falkirk pressing intently through Calvin Miller, and Hibs have got the throw though, but you can see Falkirk starting with plenty of energy off the ball. Ian McCall just trying to make sure Hibs don't get any time to settle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here at the Falkirk Stadium, they'll always have that. They've had that in the 2 games already. I've watched they start fast, they try and get up the pitch to compete for second balls, which is exactly what they're doing at the start of this game.
Ahora, one of the 2 changes made by David Gray from the defeat by Rangers at the weekend. He takes a throw down the line and Falkirk head it out, so Hibs gain about 15-20 yards. Ahora playing on the right of the back 3. Obita coming across the left centre half to offer an option, but goes back. Ahora to the feet of Jamie McGrath, controls it, moves towards the touchline halfway up Falkirk's half, but it's won again by Calvin Miller, who's now sprinting over the halfway line down the left hand side, still going. Miller crosses from deep and it goes right to the back post, and McIver edge of the 6-yard box, and Williams forces the save from Salinger. Good chance for Falkirk.
Yeah, this was a great, absolutely magnificent run from Calvin Miller, and the ball at the back post was just hung up, but as soon as I saw it was McIver underneath it, I knew he was going to win it in there, and he couldn't quite stick it into the net.
Yeah, that's what he's in the team for. Ross McIver's a brilliant ball from Calvin Miller. He didn't have really any other option but to swing it in early, and it hung up there. It was difficult to defend, and then Ethan Williams on his first Falkirk start got a good connection on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was just pawed away by Salinger, who's in the Hibs goal this evening, the Austrian, preferred to Jordan Smith again, as it's played forward by McCann and out for a Hibs throw just before halfway. And Ahora tries the ball, and he stopped. David Gray, I think, would speaking beforehand, you can tell he's slightly frustrated that they've not turned more of these draws in the league into victories. 3 draws and a win, yet to lose though in the Premiership, crucially, as Falkirk win the throw-in. McCann takes it rather quickly, it goes back to Henderson, who goes square across the edge of his own box, and luckily Nielsen's there, but the clearance is only as far as Chaiwa, who's jostling with Dylan Tate, and he's kind of tripped a little bit and gets the free kick, passes it back to Ahora on halfway. The centre half moves it infield to Bashiri, who was back out to the right hand side. Falkirk sticking with the same shape, very compact though, as Hibs try and play through. Ahora, Chaiwa passes it straight out the park as he was looking for Mulligan.
Yeah, I mean, I think the start that Falkirk's made is just indicative of their last 2 seasons. I mean, there's at least 7 or 8 of the same players out there, and they're so used to winning. I think there's a great togetherness around them, and obviously they had a decent chance through Wilson in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, they've got 6 players in their starting 11 that were in their League One winning side.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Which is quite incredible when you think about it. And they've also got Keelan Adams, who wasn't in the League One winning side, but he was playing in the Lowland League. So Even more remarkable as Bashiri controls in his own box. He's pressured by Tate, goes back to Salinger in the goal, and that's where Falkirk's pressure stops for now, holding a line. Hibs struggling for a way through at the moment as Bashiri goes back to Salinger, who has to go long, and he's towards Bowie but doesn't win it, and it bounces in midfield. Williams gets a head on it out towards the far touchline, and it'll go for a Hibernian throw-in, but Hibs really yet to get any meaningful possession in the Falkirk half after 4 minutes.
Yeah, the front four of Falkirk are just really pressing very, very high out the pitch, and they've got two sitting midfielders, and the back four are just sitting in, making it hard for Hibs to play.
Last time these sides met was 2022 when Falkirk were in League One in the Premier Sports Cup group stage. And Falkirk actually were 1-0 winners against Lee Johnson's Hibs that day. Aidan Nisbet got the winner. He's injured for Falkirk at the moment. Another one of the double title winning side as Hibs come forward, but it's passed straight through to Leon McCann, the Falkirk left back, who got the assist for Brian Graham in that defeat by St Mirren. Pass towards Miller is intercepted by O'Hora. Now it's to McGrath in the centre circle, too quick for Brad Spencer, and then lays it off to Obita. Obita now to Nicky Cadden, just over halfway, and he's just trotting forwards. Ethan Williams gets across, infield to Barlasser, in for his first start for Hibernian tonight. He's moving towards the edge of the box. He's got really good championship experience with Middlesbrough and Rotherham as well. Barlasser, as Bashiri gives it to O'Hora, forward to Chaiwa, takes it out his feet, away from one. It's a bit heavy, and that's a late challenge from Leon McCann. Referee's playing advantage. It's Bowie, poor touch from him, and Henderson gets in and then gets his body in front, and Falkirk get the free kick. I think Hibs would have rather liked the free kick there rather than the advantage. That was a late challenge, and there doesn't appear to be a yellow card forthcoming as well for Leon McCann. Yeah,
it was, but Chaiwa did well getting up. He just sprung right up, and I think he did McCann a favour there.
Diagonal free kick for Miller on this left hand side, can't take it over his shoulder. It was a really difficult one, overhit pass, and it will be a Hibernian throw in. Falkirk, such as the league at this embryonic stage, could potentially be third tonight with a win, or they could be bottom depending on if they lose and Aberdeen pick up a decent victory at Tannadice. But very tight. I'm not sure. I don't know, Ian, as a manager, do you look at the league table this early on?
I mean, I think it's even more crammed than usual. I mean, there's two teams right at the top, and then the rest, I don't know, 2 or 3 points separating all of them. Here we go.
Keelan Adams chests it in the centre circle, and he lays it wide now to McIver, but it's well defended by Obita. Gets across and puts it out for a throw-in on the far side. Only Celtic and Hearts have won more than one game so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so tight.
So many draws
as well. Yeah.
And that's a free kick. McGrath caught just in from the touchline there, so Falkirk had built some nice pressure there with that run from Adams, but Hibs managed to get out comfortably with a free kick and getting on with it. Bita going back to Salinger, who's come out to the left hand side of his box, plays it across his goal, and it's bobbling about. Bashiri calmly takes it round Tate, and then
is he kidding?
McIver as well. That's heart and mouth stuff for the Hibs fans behind that goal as it goes back to Bita, but Falkirk's so effective at preventing Hibs from playing through, and there it is, given away, played into McIver, looked offside, flag stays down, saved at the near post by Salinger. His feet managed to block it, flag still down. We do have VAR, of course, but won't need to be checked.
I thought he was offside. I'm in line here, and I thought he was half a yard offside.
Yeah, we had a good position, looked clearly offside, flag didn't go up. We do have some sympathy with officials chopping and changing between games with VAR and not. Like at the weekend where some didn't. Obviously all Premiership games do. We do tonight. Matthew McDermott, the man back at HQ in Glasgow. Salinger boots it long. Bowie wins the header and breaks for Chaiwa in midfield, moves it right to Mulligan, who's now one-on-one with McCann, and then he plays it into Chaiwa, made the run from deep into the box, but it's well read by Liam Henderson, who takes it across and then clears it up the left touchline. Bashiri wins the header, and then it goes back to Obita. And I think perhaps that was a sign there, Ian, that Hibs have decided they're not getting change at Falkirk, playing short, and the goalkeeper picks out Bowie. Yeah, I mean, Hibs are just getting suffocated right now by the high press of Falkirk and the real energy they have as well. Martin Boyle combines with McGrath, gets it back, he's jinking towards the edge of the box, still going. Martin Boyle pulls a trigger, blocked again, and then it comes to Jimmy McGrath, pass to Nicky Cadden on the left, drops his shoulder, goes on the outside, dummies the cross, then comes inside his man on the byline. Nicky Cadden drills it across, it's blocked and turned turn behind for the Hibs corner.
Yeah, really good play from Nicky Carden. He's known to try and cross the ball early. That time he just carried on. He was going to cross it, cut inside and got by his man and crossed the dangerous ball. Good defending, no good positioning by Falkirk centre-back.
Yeah, Martin Boyle just dropping deep, almost getting bored up there. Don't think he'd had a touch, and drops in and makes something happen straight away. The Hibs captain, with Joe Newell still out injured. Corner on the far side in front of the Kevin McAllister stand here at the Falkirk Stadium. Live on Sports on the BBC Radio Scotland Extra, BBC Sounds. Here it comes, swung in with a right boot on top of the edge of the 6-yard box, header down, and the goalkeeper, I thought that was beyond him, but he just managed to stick an arm out, Scott Bain, and collect it. Really good chance for Hibs, and now Ethan Williams has sprung on the counter, and he's got there ahead of Nicky Cannon. He's got round him, right hand side of the box. Miller's in the middle. The ball's poor, too close to the goalkeeper.
What a kick from Bain. I mean, absolutely outstanding kick right into his path. He did, Williams did really well to get on it and get by his man. Just his final ball, it was way too near the goalie.
St Johnstone have taken the lead in the Championship against Airdrie, and Simo Valakari's men are flying as it goes up to Bowie, tussling with Liam Henderson, and knocks it back, the defender, to Scott Bain, just relishing playing football again. And the former Celtic goalkeeper. Nice play at the back from Falkirk as Cartwright drops one over the top. Williams gives it the thumbs up, but it was overhit, and then Salinger goes out to Nicky Cadden, who crosses halfway, stops. He's asking for an option here. Barlasser is across, Obita gets it. Now it's Barlasser, yet to cross halfway Hibs, but Barlasser sends it across. Big switch of play to Mulligan on the right hand side. First touch out the sky, and then back to Ahora. And it's almost like the longer Hibs take to get it forward, the more bother they get into, and it goes all the way back to Salinger. The goalkeeper is under pressure from McIver, and he shelled it straight out the park. 0-0.
Yeah, really good pressure from McIver again. But the thing about this Falkirk team, they're dominating right now, is that they got a lot of plaudits for playing a lot of good football. There's an awful lot of movement beyond. There's an awful lot of players that like to run beyond Ross McIver or whoever the striker may be, which is great, and it creates space for others.
It was Jamie Gullen who opened the scoring for St Johnstone away at Airdrie, the Championship leaders. And it's Dylan Tate on the left hand side for Falkirk. Passes it back down the line to McCann, into Cartwright, the Leicester loanee, into Tate. Lovely curling pass out to the right back, Keelan Adams. Adams up against Nicky Cadden, inside ball to Brad Spencer, the Falkirk captain. Then Cartwright to McIver, who dropped in, holding off Bashiri, and then gets it away to Dylan Tate. Dylan Tate looks up, he's got ball to his right. It was Adams, but it's a poor pass, and it goes behind for a goal kick, but good intent again from Falkirk.
It was. You get caught in two minds there, Dylan Tate, and I think his first thought was right. I think he was going to try and deliver a wee ball just in behind the Hibs back three for McIver and Miller to try and attack, and then play the pass that ultimately wasn't on, knocked out of the park.
Ayr United have also taken the lead. Actually, that goal went in before St Johnstone, so apologies to many Ayr United fans. Scott Brown's Ayr United 1-0 up at Neil Lennon's Dunfermline Athletic, and it was McMahon who got that goal. Scott McMahon for Ayr United, and it's square at the back, and McCann under pressure, really calm though, just knocks it back to Henderson and then Bain. And it is refreshing to see Falkirk, a side that have been used to dominating possession and getting on the ball, just you can tell they're just comfortable with it, even at the step with the step up in level. And Spencer has picked a nice pass out to the left back. McCann slides it down the line for Miller, two in front of him, has to go backwards, but then he jinks inside, gives it to Spencer, and he was looking for Williams, who tucked in the winger, but it goes straight through to Nicky Cadden. Goalless here at the Falkirk Stadium, goalless at Tannadice between Dundee United and Aberdeen. We've got Tyrone Smith there, so as soon as a goal goes in, if it goes in, I'll get an update from him, as well as of course at half-time and full-time. Here on Sports Sounds, Hibs coming forward up to Bowie. Brad Spencer got a foot in, but he's penalised, and Hibs have a free kick about 15 yards into the Falkirk half. Just looking at David Gray, edge of his technical area, and I'm not sure he'll be too happy with what he's seen so far, albeit they did have that chance for the header from the corner.
He'll be really pleased it's nothing each, the way Falkirk started.
Absolutely. And these sides not met in the top flight, of course, since Falkirk were last in the big time in 2010. Falkirk's last win against Hibs at this level was in 2006, and Liam Craig scored the winner for them, now on the Hibs coaching staff, of course, and having gone on to play for Hibs later in his career. This is a Hibs free kick. Nicky Cadden, who We know all about his left foot, and he's ready to deliver. It's from deep, it's kind of flat, edge of the box. Bowie gets a header on it, flicks it towards goal, but it's going well off target, and Scott Bain just strides across and picks it up and rolls it out to Liam Henderson inside to Brad Spencer, and then he fires out to Keelan Adams, who's in loads of space in the right back position, and he takes it over halfway, and there's a run forward from Cartwright, and then it back to Williams, who sends across the back post. McIver goes up, gets his forehead on it, but it's not with enough power. It just goes into the turf and up into Salinger's arm. Still 0-0 between Falkirk and Hibs.
That's one of the things about Ross McIver. He's truly outstanding in there. I mean, he's probably as good in there as any player I have ever had. He just maybe lacks that killer instinct in the box to actually, make his little movements, just go and score goals. Hopefully he can learn that from Brian Graham. But great boy, but he's just magnificent there.
Yeah, and he did miss quite a chunk of last season as Falkirk won the title, but you can see why. John McGlynn loves to have him in there, links it so well. But here's Nicky Cadden crossing the halfway line for Hibs. He's made good progress. He slides it to Martin Boyle on the left hand side of the box. Boyle controls back towards the goal, and he curls across towards Bowie, gets a header on it down into the AstroTurf, and comfortable for Scott Bain.
I think Henderson's looking for a foul there. I think he's got to do better. He was a wee bit bullied there from Kieran Bowie, and Henderson started the game absolutely immaculately, but he get bullied there when the ball's in the 6-yard box.
Scott Bain plays it out to Keelan Adams and then gets it back. Scott Bain, 7 years at Celtic, 78 appearances, only 8 in the last 4 seasons, as he played third fiddle really. John McGlynn put trust in him, experienced goalkeeper, and he did talk about how much he'd learned at Celtic in terms of playing out and things like that. As Falkirk come forward here, Adams can't quite control it. Abita takes a bit of a heavy touch, but McIver gets across to close him down, but Abita clears, and then it's played to Brad Spencer right in the touchline. He's done really well to hold off a man and get the pass around the corner, and then McIver with a 1-2 with Williams, and then that was a little stray arm from Jordan Abita there. Williams hits the deck.
Well, surely the linesman would have put his flag out. It's right in front of the linesman, and he said he's not reported anything.
And the ref's given the free kick, but you could definitely see whether it's just a natural movement from Jordan Abita, he's running back, or whether he just knows what he's doing and he puts his arm out there. I'm not sure, but there was certainly an arm into Ethan Williams, and obviously the VAR will be across it, we hope. And it's a free kick on the far side. And the referee is Callum Scott, and Hibs holding a line on the edge of the 18-yard box. Falkirk free kick from very deep, and they go short, and it's with Miller. Sends it to the back post, and Henderson stooping well off outside the goal frame, and the ball goes through to Salinger, the Hibs keeper. 0-0 between Falkirk and Hibs after just about 17 minutes. Now it's Mulligan in the right wing back position, passes it over halfway to Chaiwan. He's done well to get away from McCann initially, but the full back has recovered, forces him inside with the pass to Barlasser, pings the right footed ball over to the left touchline, controlled by Nicky Cadden. Forward for Abita, who's up from centre half. The left back is original position, of course. Tucking in as the left of the 3, Jordan Abita, preferred to Jack Iredale again, as O'Hara, the Irishman, gives it to Mulligan on the right touchline. Mulligan fires a low ball. I'm not sure that was ever going to come off, and Spencer intercepts and gives it to Miller, who jinks inside and then goes back outside, and Brad Spencer, and it's given away. Bowie picks up, and it's Jamie McGrath charging forward over the halfway line. Boyle's made a run here if he can find him. He slips it through, toe on it, but it breaks for Martin Boyle. He's into the box. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, saved by Scott Bain. And now let's go to Tannadice for an update from Tyrone Smith.
Yeah, Thomas, 15 minutes gone here at Tannadice. It's Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. Not a whole amount to report in terms of goal mouth action. United had an early chance after just 4 minutes. Zach Sapsford did really well to get in behind the Aberdeen defence. A really dangerous low ball across the face of the Aberdeen goal, but sadly for United there were no takers. Really even start to this game. Aberdeen, plenty of balls into the box, nothing to come of them so far here at Tannadice, where it's Aberdeen, Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0.
Well, that was a big save from Scott Bain, Ian McCall, to deny Martin Boyle
Yeah, it was 1-1. I think Martin Boyle it should give Bain no chance there. I think it's got to be a goal. It was poor defending from Nielsen, get beaten a 50-50 with Martin Boyle, and he's 1-1. He's got to just try and curl it in the far corner, but it was a good stop from Bain.
Those are the opportunities I think David Gray was talking about, as it's given away by Hibbs and Williams. He's got McIver in front, with the pass is wildly overhit, I should say, and Salinger will pick up Camley in his box. Ethan Williams, he's looked bright.
He's a young player, isn't he?
Yeah,
a lot of young players with a lot of pace. He's really, really quick, obviously. Sometimes it's quite hard to get him to slow down and to make sure and pass the ball properly.
He's only played, I think this is only his 21st senior game.
Yeah.
He had a loan spell with Cheltenham last season, 19 appearances, 2 goals in League 2 in England, and this is only his second loan spell as Hibs come forward through Nicky Cadden. Cross is blocked behind for a corner kick.
Already the two Hibs centre midfield players, Balasser and Chiwa, they're good players. I mean, really move the ball well.
Adama Sidibe has put St Johnstone 2-0 up at Airdrieonians. It's going to take some effort to stop St Johnstone, it appears, this season in the Championship. Early days though. Hibs corner on the far side. It's still goalless here as we approach the 20-minute mark. Been a really even game, chances at both ends. The best of them probably coming from Martin Boyle through 1-on-1. McIver had one as well though. And Ethan Williams forced Salinger into a save early on for Falkirk. And here's the corner, whipped right into the 6-yard box. Henderson gets a header on it and it just drops on the far side. It must have been a Hibs head. It got something on that because it's a goal kick. 0-0.
It may have been Bowie, because Henderson is trying to get really, really tight to him in both boxes. Bowie's picking up Henderson in his own box, but I mean, it's a really good header across the goal. A Hibs player just holds his place at the near post. He's got a tap in.
Spencer out to Adams and then infield with a pass, and then Spencer lets that run for Scott Bain. These two, of course, are familiar foes in the Championship for a time. Met plenty of times in 2016-17 as Hibs were promoted. Falkirk second in the league, Dundee United thirds. And there was the famous playoff victory for Falkirk, Bob McHugh scoring late here to deny Hibernian a place in the playoff final. Falkirk went on to lose to Kilmarnock and Hibs went on to win the Scottish Cup. So that was a few years ago now, with Peter Houston was in charge here at the Falkirk Stadium, as Chaiwa controls the throw in just in his own half. Ahora with a little flip forward. Mulligan's picked it up on halfway. Sliding challenge from McCann. Goes through to Boyle though. Lays it first time to Jamie McGrath, who's moving towards the edge of the box. Out to Nicky Cadden. Corner of the area. Nicky Cadden flashes it low and it was on target. Scott Bain comfortably saves.
Yeah, listen, I think Nicky Cadden's got the better there. I mean, I thought maybe McGrath would have taken another couple of yards and had a strike, but it's when Nicky Cadden's got it, that's not a shot or a cross, you know, it's just in between.
Oh, and that's given away in the own box, and Bowie! My words, what a chance for Hibs, and it's gone behind. Bain saved it. Falkirk trying to play out in their own box, given away, and Kieran Bowie with a side-footed effort, and Scott Bain got a glove on it and turned it behind. It should be 1-0 Hibs.
It should be. I mean, it's a magnificent save, but Bowie should not give him a chance. I mean, he just puts his laces through it in the corner. I think he tried to steer it in, and Bain's got across, and it was a wonderful save, but you know, catastrophic defending from Falkirk.
Yeah, playing out under immense duress, and the goalkeeper Scott Bain should have just gone long there, and it's a Hibs corner. Danger's not done. 22 minutes played, goalless. Again, it's on top of Scott Bain, gets gloves on it this time, punches it away. Obita, square for Cadden. Cadden back across to Barlasser, curling pass from deep, not a great one. It drops for Williams on the edge of the box. He's taken a touch and then fires it up to Miller. Obita came a long way to try and put pressure on, and he's done so successfully. Falkirk want a free kick. They're not going to get it from Callum Scott, the referee. Infield ball to Jamie McGrath and then back to Obita. Well, Falkirk made a really good start to this game, had the better chances in the opening 10 minutes or so, but Hibs have had two really good ones in Boyle and Bowie to be ahead. And David Gray spoke about it with Brian pre-match, that he feels they're creating lots of chances and not converting them. Yeah, and they were good chances, but it's also indicative of what Falkirk have done thus far at home. Certainly they've got to capitalise when they're on top. You know, they started the game really brightly. Really, they should be 1 or 2 down now. Yeah, and Hibs with the territory here. They've got a throw in on the far side, just about in line with the edge of the Falkirk box. It's not going to go in. It goes short to Barlasser, who drops it into the area. Bain comes and then stops, headed away though by Falkirk, and won by Chaiwa in midfield. And then he slides it into Kieran Bowie just inside the box. Left-footed shot is blocked. Leon McCann battling and hacks it down towards halfway. Hibs starting to increase the pressure as it goes into Boyle's feet, and he turns away from one and then can't squeeze through a gap. Falkirk playing it out again, and then McCann, he's got two on him, takes it out to the touchline. Done really well there, Leon McCann, and then it's forward. O'Hora controls it and then gives it to Josh Mulligan on the touchline in his own half. Josh Mulligan over halfway and then curls one to Bowie. Flag stays down for now. Kieran Bowie looked like he might be offside there. He's up to the edge of the box. Bowie across with a pass blocked by Keelan Adams, and now the flag goes up, and you can hear what pretty much everyone in here thinks of that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that rule, but I must admit it was tighter than it looked. Lewis Nielsen was a wee bit deeper than Henderson on the other centre-back position, but you know, what happens if somebody takes a shot and he hurts his hamstring and the game should have been stopped? I think it's a rule that all managers, coaches and players don't like.
Yeah, well, I think David Gray's having some words with the fourth official. I'm hearing words that he was a good bit off from those with benefit of replays. It's up towards McIver. Bashiri wins the header though. Bowie chases down Nielsen, a man on loan from Hearts of course, and he has to just knock it out for a Hibs throw in round about halfway.
You just feel a Hibs goal's coming. You know, they're really getting in trouble. The two centre midfield players are starting to run the game. It's a critical period for Falkirk.
Obita infield to Barlasser. Oh, he's done well to get away from Tate there. Used his body nicely, and then it's into Jamie McGrath, turns and then flicks one away from Spencer, and then he slides a ball towards Bowie, but it's intercepted. Well read at the back by Nielsen. Now it's Falkirk who come forward. Ethan Williams, he stops short at halfway, gets a pass in field, but it's straight to Chaiwa, and Chaiwa punches it in to Martin Boyle. He's got a bit of space to run at the Falkirk defence here. He's up to the edge of the area, tries to look for Bowie, and then Adams takes a touch and he stayed calm and strokes it out for a throw-in over on the far side. 0-0.
Yeah, Hibs are really dominant now. They're getting on the ball in midfield. There's good movement ahead of them. Bowie's just not really got his touch going yet. He's had 2 or 3 little loose touches, but you feel it's a matter of time.
Yeah, Falkirk now the one struggling to get out their own half, and it's going to be a Beta. This time he's going to throw it into the Falkirk penalty area. Here it comes to the near post. One by Falkirk, then Nicky Cadden tries to send it back in, appeals for handball against Williams, nothing given on the pitch, and then a little fired ball in towards Bowie, couldn't take it under his spell, and it goes through to Scott Bain. Falkirk 0, Hibs 0.
Yeah, he tried to do a little turn there, one touch turn, they just ran away from him. There's an opportunity if he was able to do it to get a strike at goal.
Cartwright controls the midfield, and he's gone with a big switch out to the right hand side. Williams can't get there, won by Cadden, drops for Keelan Adams though, and suddenly Falkirk do have some field position. Adams takes out to the far touchline, back to Spencer doesn't see an obvious option, but then finds Adams, who peels out to the touchline. Back to Spencer, rolls it with the studs, and then curls the ball into the box. Miller couldn't gather. It's a difficult one with his back to goal, and now Josh Mulligan is going to launch a counter attack, and this is where he's dangerous. The referee stop play here, and they're going to check for this handball, I think, against Ethan Williams, and see whether Hibs may be getting a penalty here, and he's being called over to the monitor on the far side, the referee Callum Scott. So this doesn't look good for Falkirk.
You have to see from here, you know, but it absolutely went really quickly at the lad. It'll be harsh if it's given. His arms might be up though. It's right at the far end of the stadium.
His arm did look up from here, but it's whether proximity and all the rest of it, does he make his silhouette or body unnaturally bigger or in terms of what you would expect his body to do in that position. And we saw, of course, Hibs given a penalty when, according to the incident panel, they shouldn't have been against Dundee United in the 3-3, and then they were on the other side of VAR against St Mirren with their equaliser. What's going to the decision here? So it looks like Callum Scott over the monitor, so the ball, I think, does hit the arm and then hits his left arm and then goes onto his face. So Callum Scott's having a really good look at this over on the far side, puts the whistle to the lips, and they are going to give this, I think. Callum Scott, penalty Hibs. The home fans are irate, they're furious, but Ethan Williams has been penalised for handball, and Hibs are going to get the opportunity. 28 and a half minutes played to take the lead here.
I mean, I felt a goal was coming. I think it was inevitable, but I didn't expect it to come like that. I'd like to see that back. It took us a while, the ref, but obviously then's given it.
He did indeed, and it's going to be Martin Boyle. It was Jamie McGrath who took it for the equaliser late on at Easter Road against Dundee United. McGrath's 20 for 22 in his career from the spot. Missed one last season for Aberdeen against Rangers. They won that game anyway, 2-1 up to Tawdry. But it is Martin Boyle, the Hibs standing captain, who's placing the ball on the spot now, and the chance to give Hibernian the leads. Boyle shrugs the shoulders. The referee telling Scott Bain to make sure he doesn't encroach off his line. It is Martin Boyle, steps up, right-footed, and it's into the corner of the net. And Hibernian take the leads. And after a bit of a shaky start from David Gray's side, they've responded really well. And from the penalty spot, Martin Boyle tucks it away and makes it Falkirk 0, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't start the game well the first 10, 12, 15 minutes, but they've had two brilliant chances before the penalty with Boyle and Bowie, and the goal was coming, and you can't say they don't deserve their lead. I think they're starting to be dominant in the middle of the pitch, and obviously they've got threats in the forward areas.
Let's get an update from Tannadice from Tyrone.
Yeah, 27 minutes gone here at Tannadice, and it's still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. I have to say though, since we last spoke, the hosts have taken a bit of a grip on things here, and just a few moments ago they went really close. It was Zach Sapsford. He picked the ball up just about 10 yards out. His low shot took a wicked deflection, which Dimitar Mitov did really well to get down to, get some fingers to, and tip it out for a corner. But it's still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0.
And here it is Falkirk 0, Hibernian 1. Martin Boyle's penalty after half an hour. The difference after Williams was penalised for blocking a cross with his arm. We've not seen a replay up here, but we'll get obviously everyone's thoughts on that more closely at half time. Hibs, after a bright start from Falkirk, have hit the front here, and as Ian McCall has described it, it kind of almost sums up Falkirk this season a lot of the time, is make a good start and then just can't quite find the breakthrough that's so crucial. They are coming forward here though, as Keelan Adams makes a run. Good defender from Nicky Cadden, and he clears it up the left touchline. Cartwright's there, gives it to Tate. Tate back to Cartwright. Cartwright back to Liam Henderson, just edge of the centre circle in his own half. Goes to Nielsen. Nielsen out wide, and Falkirk having to come from behind at home again. It's back to Nielsen, square to Henderson. Martin Boyle closing down Henderson, but he's done well to drive through the middle of the Hibs forwards, and then he chips the ball out towards Ethan Williams, takes a bounce, and Williams controls it with the right foot, flashes across, takes a deflection, edge of the 6-yard box off the top of a Hoda's head. Miller heads it down and Salinger claims it.
Yeah, but it was a really dodgy bounce that took it. I mean, it fooled McIver and Bashiri and just didn't fall for Calvin Miller at the back post, but nice delivery into the box.
It was indeed from Ethan Williams. Bowie gets a side foot on that as it went up to him direct, and then he's got it again here. Obita now on the touchline, closed down by McIver, but he does well to wriggle out of that situation and goes back to Raphael Salinger, closed down by McIver. Now Bashiri knocks it in front of himself and passes it to Ahura. It's peeled out to the right touchline, up to Bowie, surrounded by three, gets a touch and then offloads to Chaiwa, then into McGrath in midfield. He's moving up the Falkirk half, out to Nicky Cadden on the left hand side. He's running at Keelan Adams, goes on the outside, left-footed cross, controlled on the edge of the 6-yard box by Henderson. Calmly done as he hits it away, then the strike from distance from Barlasser goes a good few yards wide of Scott Bain's right-hand post. 1-0 to Hibs.
Yeah, it was a really clean strike there, but I mean, I think the game is in midfield is Barlasser and Chaiwa now. They're actually running the game. I mean, some of their passing and their moving it's been excellent in the last 10-15 minutes.
And I thought Dylan Tate had picked up a little injury there, former Hibernian player of course. He only ever made one appearance for the first team as it's played long by Cartwright. Picked out Miller, who's come off the top of his head there, Miller, but he goes after the seconds. He looks like he's won a throw off Mulligan. And it's decent work from the Falkirk winger. And then on they go, McCann to Tate on the left touchline. Tate comes in the field, low pass to Adams, who's in the central midfield area, and flicked it back to Adams, who's made a good run, low cross, blocked, and then Hibs can't prevent the corner, so a chance for Falkirk to respond here. 33 played.
Yeah, it's really good play again. I mean, going forward, not a problem, and they get bodies forward. Ross McIver, as you've noticed, he'll never be isolated. There's always players getting close to him.
They go short to Miller, and it's back now to Tate. Really dangerous cross, and Cartwright goes up. Salinger's underneath it at the second attempt, and it remains Falkirk 0, Hibs 1. Here, live on Sport Sounds. Goalless at Tannadice for now between Dundee United and Aberdeen. St Johnstone 2 up at Airdrie in the Championship, and Ayr are 1-0 up against Dunfermline as well in the Championship, as Chaiwa picks a pass to Mulligan. Mulligan pings a right-footed pass out to Nicky Cadden, who just crosses the threshold of halfway. He's slowed down, waiting for support. He gets an overlap from Obita, but he goes to Chaiwa, who's always showing for it in midfield, and then he switches it to Boyle on the right-hand side. Boyle comes infield initially, looked to go outside, then gives it a 1-2, and then McCann goes down and managed to get his body in the way, and it runs for a goal kick. So Martin Boyle's first Premiership goal of the season from the penalty spot. The difference between the sides here at the Falkirk Stadium, and a win would be massive for Hibernian. It would be just their 4th in 13 games this season. Still plenty to do. It would be their 2nd league win. Not one at Easter Road this season. And they're away tonight, of course, and then away to Celtic and Hearts, and they're next to Henderson, to Leon McCann. McCann into Spencer. Spencer to Cartwright. Nice stuff from Falkirk as they build out from the back. Out to Keelan Adams, just shy of halfway. Then Cartwright. Cartwright back to Nielsen. Into Spencer. And into Miller, who's tucked in from the left wing, but McCann's overlapped, and it is now McCann who takes it in from the touchline and back to Liam Henderson. And you do, as Ian said, you get a really good vantage of the movement from Falkirk in terms of up here, just seeing guys making runs. They don't always get the ball, but they're not standing still as Falkirk battle with it. Williams has done well on the right hand side of the box. Sliding challenge from Nicky Cadden. Referee's happy with it. The Falkirk fans aren't. Through to the goalkeeper. I'm not sure what I made of that one.
No, listen, I don't think there was a lot in it, to be honest, and the Falkirk players haven't complained that much, which sometimes tells its own story.
Yeah, absolutely. O'Hora launches it forward. Bowie right on top of Henderson, but he's done really well, Henderson. Into Miller. Miller to Spencer. Player of the year in the Championship last year as Falkirk won the title, Brad Spencer, and he sprays it out to Keelan Adams. Adams into Spencer. Falkirk number 8 and captain goes out to Williams on the right touchline. He's running at Cadden. Comes in on the left foot and back to Spencer. Spencer, edge of the box, out to Adams, fizzes it in, but Williams was almost in the way there, and then it breaks back for Spencer, who lifts it over to Leon McCann. Miller is pushed out towards the touchline and receives the pass. Miller, low cross, blocked behind, Falkirk corner.
Really good play though, probing play. They're patient, and it didn't happen on one side of the pitch. A couple of passes over the other side of the pitch to win a corner.
8 minutes plus stoppage time to half time. It is Falkirk 0, Hibernian 1. Martin Boyle's penalty the difference. Live on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, BBC Sounds, and online. Calvin Miller ready to take this corner kick. Drills it past the penalty spot, and Williams was lining up the volley, but Nicky Cadden got a little touch on it to take it away from him, and then Cadden's fetched it right on the line out on the far side. Cadden infield to Jamie McGrath, away from McIver, and then back to Obita. That was a crucial touch from Nicky Cadden.
It was.
And Williams, well, it would have been a difficult effort, let's be honest, but you just never know. As Mulligan looks for Boyle, poor pass, it curled inwards. Boyle wanted it down the side of the box as Spencer carries it forwards into the feet of McIver. Brilliant little touch away from his man, but then the pass is poor.
He's just got to, it was a great first touch, just link with the full back and move, and he's trying to play a pass forward, into the wide right. It really wasn't on.
Yeah,
I mean, Williams is doing okay, he's making some decent runs, but you just sometimes need to slow down a little bit, I think.
Yeah, in to replace Scott Arfield in John McGlynn's team this evening. Ethan Williams, first start for Falkirk. He did tour with Man United pre-season. 19-year-olds. As we've mentioned, though, not a great deal of first-team experience other than a loan in League Two at Chesterfield last season. Here is Lewis Nielsen on loan from Hearts. Arrowed ball looking for Williams, but he's overhit it, and it's through to Salinger, who controls it, and Hibs in no rush, heading towards half-time. Salinger waits for McIver to approach and picks up the ball. Little pocket of Hibs fans over on the far sides. Of course, reduced allocation given just how many season tickets Falkirk have sold this season. Mulligan into Chaiwa and hits off a Falkirk player for the Hibs throw, about the halfway point of the Falkirk half. 6 minutes to the break.
Really interesting battle up front. Well, defensively, Henderson against Bowie. They're really going at it, the two of them.
Yeah, for Scotland under 21 teammates of old, the two of them, as Warren O'Hora holds the ball above his head, ready for this throw-in, and he's stolen a couple of yards, as they always do. Throws it down the line, and Cartwright leaves it for Spencer to clear towards McIver, tussling with Bashiri. Looked like he was grappled there, and indeed he was. Free kick to Falkirk.
Yeah, good play by McIver. Good play. He wins a free kick. He got his layoff away as well.
Fired into the feet of Tate. Did say he has a point to prove as an ex-Highby. He was speaking this week saying I think he'd had 5 managers in about 2 years, so when he was at Hibs never really got settled. Had a loan at Wraith Rovers among others when he worked with John McGlynn. As Scott Bain lashes it forward straight to Bashiri, who clears it first time with the left foot towards Boyle. Touch in fields. It's cleared by Spencer. Obita out to Nicky Cadden. Good use of the body to send the onrushing man the wrong way, and Salinger controls right in the 6-yard box, pings it to Mulligan. First time flick forward for Bowie, who takes a shoulder from Brad Spencer, then goes back towards his goalkeeper, and Bowie's going to go after that, and Bain just got there in the nick of time, and he's caught by Bowie there, and Bowie puts the hands up to say apologies, my momentum took me that way, but the referee is going to caution him.
I think that was a total accident. I really do, and I think Bain will be up pretty quickly. I don't think Bowie meant it at all. I don't think there was any intent.
Yeah, look, when you watch Kieran Bowie, that's just how he plays. He runs about full tilt, his hair going everywhere, and I just think he couldn't stop himself there. And credit to Bain, it was really calm play at the back just to clip it.
Well, not so much credit, they're rolling about, and now he's up absolutely fine.
No, all part of the fun these days, isn't it? As it goes out to Adams on the touchline far side. Falkirk 0, Hibernian 1. 4 minutes to the break at the Falkirk Stadium. And it's out to the far sides. Bowie caution for reckless play, so not in control of his body, basically. It's the caution as Henderson fires it into Miller. Looked to spin, but O'Hora won it. Now into McGrath. In Falkirk territory, done brilliantly to get away from Cartwright, and McGrath finds Boyle wide right of the box, back to McGrath, shot from Bowie blocked, McGrath back to goal, lovely turn, Jamie McGrath makes it 2-0.
Outstanding.
What a brilliant finish that is from Jamie McGrath, and he takes a bow, and well he might, because he's finished with aplomb there, and he's put Hibernian firmly in control of this game. It is Falkirk 0, Hibernian 2, 3 minutes to the break.
Yeah, listen, it was a really nice cross from Boyle. You know, it came to Kieran Bowie. He's had a good effort at goals, came back to him. But the McGrath one, and he sold the dummy. I think he sold about 3 players the dummy there. Brought it back on his right foot and just tucked away in the right corner. I mean, I'm not saying there's a gulf in the two teams, because I think Falkirk have played well. But you just feel Hibs are just that step above.
Yeah, and almost, is it too simple to say it comes down to both boxes at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Hibs just with that quality. You look at Boyle and McGrath either side of Bowie.
McGrath's been excellent as well.
He has. He's such a clever player, isn't he? As Tate drops it, looking for Williams, as Falkirk looked to hit back before the break. And it's out to Mulligan. Mulligan controls, carries over halfway. He's got Tate in front of him, but he's running away from him. McCann supports the defensive effort. Mulligan's still going. Squeezes the pass to Chaiwa, and a sliding challenge from Spencer, and he's caught by Chaiwa. Falkirk free kick.
Yeah, you saw Mulligan's power there. You know, he's taking the ball out the pitch 40-50 yards. I said before I prefer him playing in the middle three, but he still do a really good job at right wing back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying it's the game that convinced Hibs to sign him, but I don't know if you remember the 4-1 at Dens when David Gray was really struggling.
Under pressure.
Yeah, and Mulligan was absolutely unplayable that night at right wing back. He just went down the right hand side time and time again as Bain goes forwards, Spencer's header forwards, and Chaiwa gets some touch on it, not the one he wanted. Breaks for Falkirk in midfield. Spencer out to Keelan Adams in the centre circle. 1 minute to the break, and I think we're going to have 2 added at the end. Adams chips the ball into the box. O'Hora glancing header away. Falkirk have it left corner of the area through Dylan Tate. McCann's made the run there. If he can find him and he lays the pass, he's asked a lot of McCann, but he is going to get there, and he stands it up to the back post. McIver's header comfortable for Salinger, and let's get an update from Tannadice from Tyrone Smith.
42 minutes gone here at Tannadice still. Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0, but United really should be in front. They had a terrific opportunity just a few minutes ago. Zach Sapsford, he played the ball through to Ivan Dolcek. He found himself one-on-one with the Aberdeen keeper Dimitar Mitov, who was up to the task and did really well to block the United player's effort here at Tannadice, where it's Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0.
Falkirk 0, Hibs 2 here. We're just about to enter the 2 minutes of added time. Boyle and McGrath, the scorers for Hibernian. Boyle from the spot as Spencer plays it to Lewis Nielsen, and the 2 minutes are indicated from the fourth official. Leon McCann takes it inside Josh Mulligan and offloads to Liam Henderson. Henderson up to halfway, knocks it to Tate, who takes it on a run, but immediately Kieran Bowie is back, blocking his path. Forced back to Henderson. Now Cartwright across to Nielsen. Nielsen steps well into the Hibs half, out to Ethan Williams, away from Cadden. Cross is blocked, and then there's McIver, and he scored. Falkirk have one back in first half stoppage time. Brilliant work from Williams down the right. McIver followed it in, could not miss. Falkirk 1, Hibernian 2.
I mean, Falkirk spent the first half trying to release Williams down that right hand side. Ball's in behind, he got it to feet. He absolutely, it's old-fashioned wing play. He skinned the full-back and he's drilled a great ball in from a great area. And Ross McIver, terrific run across his marker. Good finish, but couldn't really miss.
Yeah, he was where you want your number 9 to be, just inside the 6-yard box. Stroked it home, and that is a priceless goal for Falkirk, because they were heading for the sheds 2-0 down, and that just brings this place back to life as Hibs' hopes of a first league clean sheet of the season disappear with that Ross McIver goal. It will be a source of great annoyance to David Gray as Hibs send it long, and McGrath and Falkirk collected. There's been a goal at Tannadice, Tyrone.
Yeah, you can probably tell by the cheers it's gone to the home side as well. It was a long throw into the Aberdeen box by Will Ferry. The Aberdeen defence couldn't deal with it. The ball eventually fell to Ivan Dolcek, and he did the rest, burying a nice crisp low shot low into the net from 11 yards out. It's Dundee United 1, Aberdeen 0.
Here come Falkirk, and that was a ball right across it. The offside flag has eventually gone up. Ivan Dolcek, what a season he's having already. 5 Premiership goals for Dundee United.
That one was literally 5 yards offside before he put his flag up.
Well, there is the half-time whistle. Well, the game looks slightly different than it did a few moments ago. Hibernian were 2-0 up and in control of this game. On the half-hour mark, Ethan Williams penalised for a handball, blocking a cross after a VAR check. Martin Boyle stepped up, calmly put it into the right-hand corner to give Hibs probably a deserved lead at that stage. And then a brilliant second goal just 3 minutes before half-time. Jamie McGrath in the box, superb dummy to shake off about 3 Falkirk players, and then he put it in the far corner. Hibs looked well in control, and for all Falkirk's decent play, they were 2 goals down, but luckily for them, just in first half stoppage time at the end there, brilliant wing play from Williams to somewhat redeem himself for the handball. Goes down the outside, cross across the 6-yard box, and Ross McIver was there to finish from close range. So this game very much alive. Half time at the Falkirk Stadium. It is Falkirk 1, Hibernian 2.
the Scottish Premiership.
Live on Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC Radio Scotland. Europa League football is back, and it's live on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Tomorrow, Celtic visit Serbia to face Red Star Belgrade. On Thursday, Rangers host Belgian side Genk. Listen tomorrow and Thursday at 6 on digital radio, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. A commentary match this evening has reached half-time. Falkirk 1, Hibs 2. Falkirk with a lifeline right in the stroke of half-time. We'll go to Tannadice in a couple of minutes' time. We got that big goal update from Tyrone Smith. Dundee United 1, Aberdeen 0. Ivan Dolcek right on the stroke of half-time. 2 games in the Scottish Championship this evening. Airdrie 0, St Johnstone 2. Jimmy Gullen with the opener on 9 minutes. Adama Sidibe on 19 minutes. Ayr United 1-0 up away at Dunfermline. Scott McMahon on 9 minutes. Right, we'll get to Tyrone Smith in just 1 minute's time. Also some games in the Challenge Cup this evening. Alloa 1, Kilmarnock B 0. Annan Athletic 2, Rangers B 2. Clyde 1, East Fife 0. Cove Rangers 0. Hibs B 0. Dumbarton 3, Kelty Hearts 3. Forfar 1, Aberdeen B 0. Inverness, Cally Thistle 3. Dundee B-side 0. Peterhead 0. Elgin City 1. Cooney of the South 2. Hearts B 0. Spartans 0. Dundee United B 0. Stennismuir 1. East Kilbride 0. Stirling Albion 1. Montrose 2. Stranraer 2. Motherwell B 0. So we'll get back and get more from Ian and Thomas at our commentary match. That one at the Falkirk Stadium. 2-1 to Hibs there. But let's get to the game at Tannadice. I think we can hear the United fans in the background there. Tyrone, and more woe for Jimmy Tillene's Dons.
Yeah, Kenny, at the break here at Tannadice, it's Dundee United 1, Aberdeen 0 after a relatively quiet start to the game. It was the home side who took control a fair bit, and they created the game's first real chance midway through this first half. The lively Zach Sapsford, he got the ball in the box, cut inside, and his low shot took a wicked deflection which produced a terrific save from Dimitar Mitov, who did really, really well to get down and tip it round the post. But Esselink then headed just over from the resultant corner from a few yards out. You might well feel actually he should have done a whole lot better with that. United had another great opportunity when the very lively Sapsford, he played in Ivan Dolcek, who found himself one-on-one with Mitov, who again did really well to block the winger's effort. But Dolcek wasn't to be denied. As the interval approached, the ball fell to him in the box, and from 10 yards out he drilled a powerful low shot into the net to break the deadlock. Chances were few and far between, it has to be said, for Aberdeen, although they did muster one, their only one actually, on the half hour when Jesper Karlsson's 25-yarder stung the palms of Kucherenko in the United goal. They'll need to offer a whole lot more here if they're going to turn things round at Tannadice, where at the interval it's Dundee United 1, Aberdeen 0.
Thanks to Tyrone Smith. So let's focus on United first of all. Billy Dodge, we spoke before the game. There's a fair bit of optimism around Tannadice right now. The general feeling is Jim Goodwin has recruited well, and every time I've looked up at this game, United seem to be having the better of it.
They've created the best chances. Could have been ahead, could have been a couple ahead. Well, could have been a couple ahead, sorry, they are ahead. They have been the better team for me, Kenny, and that comes with that feeling about the club. He has recruited well. He had his troubles early on, Jim Goodwin, especially when we looked at the Strasser game and they weren't functioning, but he's brought them all together, they've gelled, given them a bit of time, and they really look the part now. And Dolcek, he's had a great season, it's a fine finish, but they had chances before that. Fata right for the start when the ball's across the goal, Sapsford with a shot that Mitov had to save, Esselink a header just after that was glanced past the post. Dolcek had a 1-on-1, and eventually Dolcek scores. And Tyrone's right, the only effort that Aberdeen had was Karlsson, a long range strike that Kucherenko, he just beated it away. That's been it for Aberdeen, not enough. Willie will touch on them, but as far as Dundee United at home with a chance, with Hibs winning they'll probably go fourth, but with a great chance to really propel themselves up that league. They're doing all they have to do just now. They're ahead, they should be more ahead, and they look as if they could go on and get 3 points, not unless Aberdeen do something drastic.
Yeah, just looking at the live table, Willie. So Hibs, who are in front away at Falkirk, their third spot, 9 points. Dundee United would move up to fourth on 8 points. Just looking further down the table, actually Falkirk slipped to 11th. There's 3 clubs on 4 points as things stand. Aberdeen 1 point at the bottom of the table. Willie, again, I go back to what we touched on at the start of the programme. It just all looks a bit flat, a bit lacking in ideas, doesn't it, from the Dons?
Oh, without doubt, very little creativity. The way Jimmy Tulane sets his team up and puts them out, now you've actually got 2 attacking minded fullbacks. It's not as if they're trying to sit back, they're trying to frustrate Dundee United, but you're getting very little from these 2 fullbacks pushing up and looking at it, and looking at the chance that Dolchek had. The two fullbacks are away forward the park. There's a huge gap between the left centre back and the left back, and Dolchek's in. He should have scored. So yeah, there's no problem with Dundee United being in the lead. They deserve it. They had that. That was a big chance, and they should have taken it. They didn't, and they've scored a wonderful goal. I mean, the volley from Dolchek was first class.
He's weaker foot. Yeah.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah. So I don't think Aberdeen can have anything to complain about in terms of the scoreline. They've had nothing up front. You're looking at Carlson. Okay, he's had the shot. It's a long range shot. That's been their only real effort. Milanovic has done very little. Polvara has been non-existent. Nisbet has, I can't even remember him touching the ball. In fact, I think his best work was in the box, his own box, when he cleared one.
That's right.
When he was under a little bit of pressure. And you've got Armstrong. He looks okay, carries the ball, and he's a good player, good experience. But not enough, and Nielsen's just sitting in the midfield. So you're like, if you're an Aberdeen fan, you're looking for some signs. It's some signs that they actually know the way to go. They know how to, well, in this case, they know how to get back into the game. And from the start, they actually know how to put the opposition under pressure by creating opportunities and at least having a semblance of looking that they might be a danger in the opposition box, and there hasn't been any. I
don't know about you, Will, and it leads into what you're saying. You're right, the fullbacks getting caught. I don't think, as a team now, looking at that game, they're trusting one another. I think they turned over possession. When they were caught forward, Aberdeen were in possession and Dundee United steal it. That's why they've been caught. They're maybe not shown. As striker, you're saying Nisbet's hardly touched the ball. The midfield don't look capable enough of retaining it to bring in fullbacks and be comfortable in possession to find them, and they're scared of the turnover, and they're getting caught out of possession time and time again. I just think that runs into the confidence factor where they are in the league. They're going to need a win to get some confidence, and then they'll start retaining possession better than what they're doing in this game. But every time they're in possession, I don't think they trust one another, and when they do and get themselves into forward position, the possession's given away and they're caught every time.
Right, let me ask you this as former players, using the words trust and confidence. Sometimes, and we know, and Willie spoke about how rigid the manager is with the system. Sometimes as a player, looking, asking questions to the manager, when are we going to change this? This is not working. Can you question a manager over stuff like that?
I think if you've got experienced players there and players that have been for some time, then you can question the manager about it. But he hasn't ventured away from that setup, that system. He hasn't, apart from the cup final. So I don't think that questioning him is going to make him change his mind. Yeah. Actually, what I would be questioning if I was a centre back is, why are my 2 full-backs way up the park when we're away from home? And the last thing we want to do is give the opposition any hope at all and leave any space to be exploited. And the 2 centre-backs are being exposed now. United have got 3 forwards. Yeah, so you would think
Nielsen's got to sit if the full-backs are away. Yeah. He's not doing that either. So there's definitely confidence, there's definitely trust. That comes to the manager. What do you do with the formation, Kenny? I would throw back to you. Do you go and play a more expansive formation, which is a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2, or do you go back to your cup final one, 5-4-1, and away from home play counter-attack football? But they don't look capable of playing counter-attack football. It's probably their best hope. but they don't look capable of doing that, because as soon as they nicked it and players go forward and try and counter-attack and sprint forward, they look as if they'll give away possession, so they're going to get caught anyway. Now people might say, yeah, but they'll still have 3 centre halves and you've got maybe a sitting or 2 sitting midfielders, and that lets people spring forward. Maybe, but if they get beaten with going back to a cup final formation against a team where they should be thinking, well, we should be the same as them, if not dominating them, especially after the money that Aberdeen have spent.
Yes.
So it's a naughty one for the manager. He can't change formation and go defensive counter-attack, and he might have to at some point, but against these type of teams, I think the Aberdeen fans are expecting wins, 3 points, keeping better possession, playing a part in the game, which they've not done so far. I think the only time, and then if you go 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 and you get exposed even more, they're in a conundrum just now, Aberdeen, how to get those best results.
But they're not getting enough out of the players that they've brought in, Karlsson and Milanovic in particular. You know, you're bringing in Karlsson, who has got a decent reputation, went for big money. He comes over with, you know, a kind of a high status that you'd expect them to be able to do something special on the field of play. Same with Milanovic as well, but they've done nothing tonight. They haven't created any problems for the Dundee backline at all. You know, and they're supposed to be the type that will, you know, cause defences problems, but they don't. And then of course you've got Nisbet, who's got he's had no service whatsoever. He's had no crosses into the box. He's had no support from the midfield either. So you can't really point the finger at him and say he could do more.
You've got to dominate possession, don't you, when you're wanting these players in the game? You've got to be guys getting about and winning tackles. Even if you go back to your centre halves, building from there, dominating possession so that your wingers can get into it, your striker will go and show a little bit, but they're not dominating either to get their forward thinking players into it.
No, but it's sure 3 midfield players, Dodgy, for Aberdeen. I know we're talking a lot about Aberdeen, and we've got to say that United have had
deserved,
you know, they've played well. Absolutely, United, they look a good unit, they're well organised, they're disciplined, and they've got a bit of quality up front, and their build-up play has been excellent. As far as Aberdeen's concerned, you're looking at the midfield 3, the Armstrong, Pavara and Nielsen, and I don't know, you've got to get midfield players on the ball, and they don't look as though they know how to get on the ball. I think Armstrong has done it probably at the highest level, but that's not been a high level, unfortunately. Nielsen, I don't know what he's doing out there, to be perfectly honest. I think if you're looking at it, I think you make a change there.
No mobility.
No, none at all. And even like somebody like Palaversa could come on younger and, you know, much more forward thinking. So a lot of work to be done at half time and the second half.
Yeah, United thoroughly deserving of their victory there. Ian McCall is alongside Thomas Duncan at the Falkirk Stadium. I mean, it's been an exciting game there. I think we all predicted goals, certainly both managers did, and no wonder we've seen. There actually should have been more goals, Ian, because I was watching Willie's head in here when some of that defending, particularly that Falkirk. I mean,
the one that Bowie should have scored.
Why did they do that?
Listen, I don't know. I mean, the game is going to be has become really, really good because of what happened in the 44th minute.
Yes.
Because it looked like Hibs were going to run away with it there and go and score the 3rd and then 4th. Ethan Williams, they've been trying to get Ethan Williams in down the left hand side, over the top, down the side of the left centre back and the wing back the whole half. If they tried it once, they tried it 7 times. It was actually a bit, he got the ball to feet, old fashioned wing play, a bit like at Firhill on Sunday. Went by his guy brilliantly, crossed a great ball in the box, and you know, and there's McIver making a game of it. You've got to still fancy Hibs. They're 3 midfield players, Kenny. I tell you what, they look tidy.
Yeah, listen, it's a really good game, really enjoying it. Let's get back to our commentary team. Don't forget, we'll keep you updated on all the events at Tannadice United with the noses in front against Aberdeen. It's Falkirk against Hibs. That's our commentary game with Ian and Thomas.
Thanks, Kenny. No changes for either side. Falkirk getting ready to kick off, shooting from left to right towards the Kevin McAllister end here at the Falkirk Stadium. That goal from Ross McIver, so key for them. Give them a lift going into the changing room, having played pretty well for at least 10-15 minutes and sporadically threatened thereafter as Spencer kicks off and goes all the way back to Scott Bain, and it's this kind of playing for territory that a lot of teams will be doing these days as Bain goes long. 1-0 by O'Hora, and McIver controls. 2 league goals now for him, having scored in the defeat by Livingston. And and comes forward to Boyle, plays it inside to Bowie. Boyle looked offside here, flag's going to stay down for now. It's Martin Boyle, and he goes down looking for the penalty, and the offside flag does go up. He did look very much offside, Ian.
It was 3 yards offside. He could have held his run though. I mean, Bowie was always going to play into that, but the thing is, if he hadn't went early, probably wouldn't have got the end of it, but he was clearly offside. If he hadn't been offside, stonewall penalty.
Yeah, for those listening at home, it's we're right in line with that. You can see it a mile off. It's obviously just the delay in the flag going up. So there was never going to be any penalty decision made because of the early run from Martin Boyle. So as you were, Scott Bain clears downfield from the edge of his own box. Bashiri's header up to halfway. Bowie goes up and then gave Keelan Adams a little nudge, but the referee was too wise for it and gives the free kick to Falkirk. Now Nielsen, high ball, under hit though, headed into midfield, and McGrath picks it up, chests it to Chaiwa and Barlasser. Chaiwa spins and gives it to O'Hora, fires it into Mulligan on the right touchline, and then looking for the run of Boyle, that well read by Henderson, intercepts and gives it to Miller, and tackled by Chaiwa out for a throw on the far side. What would have been the message from John McGlynn, do you think, at half time, Ian?
Well, it'd have been very different because of what happened in the 44th minute. I mean, they had a mountain to climb, but yeah, I mean, keep trying to get in behind, keep trying to get in that area that they tried so many times. Maybe try and use the left side a little bit more, but when you're playing out from the back, you know, tidy it up.
Yeah. Throw in just over halfway into Tillon Tate, first time return, and then a switch out to Keelan Adams. Hibernian started the night in third and on course to pull away somewhat. Well, Dundee United winning will be just behind them on 8 points as it stands. Keelan Adams tussling with Obita, and it goes behind for a goal kick. No free kick. And the Falkirk fans, we had a second look at that penalty at half time, Ian. What did you make of it?
I thought it was so harsh. I mean, these days it might be a penalty, but I have no idea where the boys want to put his arms. I mean, to be honest, they were a bit high, but it was rattled at him from about 2 yards. So, I mean, these days it probably is a penalty, but for me, no, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's that thing. He basically is putting his hands up as almost in a reaction because he knows he's going to get pelted with the ball.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't know what you're really supposed to do as a player, but his left arm was up and it did strike it, so maybe the referee had no option. I don't know, but I don't know where we're heading with this handball rule. Who would be a player or certainly a defender these days with the way the rules are being interpreted. Free kick to Falkirk now. Round in the Brad Spencer is having a word with Rocky Bashiri there. Two of them getting acquainted. It's the Hibs player that's down. It's going to be a Hibs free kick, I beg your pardon, and the players are all surrounding. I think it's Chaiwa who's down in the ruck of bodies, and yeah, it is Chaiwa, and that will be a concern for David Gray because the physios are being called for here. So we're going to have a stoppage in play.
It's a concern for me because I love watching him. What a good footballer he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got certain good pedigree as well. You know, signed from Young Boys Bern in Switzerland. 34 appearances there over a couple of years. Played in the Champions League sporadically off the bench against Celtic, indeed last season, in Red Star Belgrade, and against Red Star and Man City the season before that. So he's played, albeit not hundreds of games, but he's played at a good level, the Zambian, for a 21-year-old. But concern here for Hibernian because he's back on his feet at least. Yeah. He looks like he's moving. He's been told to kind of do, maybe it's he's doing little calf raises almost.
Well, I think he tried to play the pass, and as he struck the ball forward, the Falkirk player was trying to block it but blocked his foot. Yeah, that's what might have happened. I think it was an accident. I don't think there was any malice in it at all.
Yeah, kind of one of those times where the studs come down on you. So it's not even going to be a foul. The referee's going to just drop the ball. So Brad Spencer gets the ball and goes to Keelan Adams, and Chaiwa's going to have to wait to come on the far side for Hibs. Williams down the right hand side, back to Tate to Williams. Falkirk 1, Hibs 2 early in the second half, and Williams back with a pass to Tate, and he was putting him under pressure there, but
Bowie needs to be careful. I'll tell you, he's had 3 fouls since he's been booked.
Yeah, he's just so eager, isn't he? But as you say, he needs to calm it a little bit, and Falkirk get on with things. Tate curls one from deep. That looks like it's too close to Salinger. Indeed it is, who gathers comfortably and rolls it out quickly to Josh Mulligan, and he gets going and gives it infield to Chaiwa, who looks okay. Certainly looks okay. A couple of quick touches. O'Hora into McGrath, scorer of Hibs seconds. What a tidy finish it was as well. Obita to Cadden, he miscued that and underhit the pass for Bowie, and Falkirk win it. Now Keelan Adams, who's quick as well. He's running away from Cadden, tries to go in between him and Obita. Crowded out, and it's back with the Hibs midfield and Chaiwa. Chaiwa up to Boyle. Excellently timed challenge by Liam Henderson in the centre circle. Boyle still down. Now Miller breaks. Edge of the area, left corner of the box. Going towards the touchline, good tackle. In the ends from Josh Mulligan. And Hibs have the ball, but Martin Boyle is down, so Hibs are going to just prod this out of play.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Boyle just took a poor touch there, you know, obviously, and then, you know, Henderson's come through and won the ball. I think he'll be up now in a wee minute. There you are.
Maybe he just needed a wee rest.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a red card for Dunfermline in their championship match with Ayr United, and they trail by 1-0. So not going well for Neil Lennon's sides in the championship this evening. St Johnstone still 2-0 up away to Airdrie, the leaders, in control of that division early on. As Salinger plays it out to Bashiri, Martin Boyle is okay. Out to Mulligan, up the right touchline. Difficult one for Chaiwa to control, does his best. And then Falkirk win it, then give it away. McGrath, just over halfway. Out to Mulligan. Back to O'Hora. O'Hora under pressure from McIver. And then to Mulligan. Into midfield, and Hibs just popping it about. Bashiri to Obita. Obita to Cadden, of the Nicky variety. Chris Cadden on the bench for Hibs this evening. It's Chaiwa under pressure from Cartwright. Oh, and he's got away from him. That's brilliant from Chaiwa. He's wriggled out of a hole. Then his touch was heavy. He's drawn the foul from Spencer. Advantage being played as Barlasser goes wide to Mulligan. Hibs still with the ball. McGrath regathers. He's going to cross this from deep. Takes a deflection of Spencer, and it will be a corner kick to Hibernian, who lead 2-1 at the Falkirk Stadium.
Yeah, listen, magnificent Chaiwa again. I think we've got a new star in Scottish football. He's really, really exciting to watch. I mean, he takes it really deep. In blink of an eye, he's went past 3 men and he's playing off somebody.
Yeah, of the kind of new faces in the Scottish Premiership, him and Panucci Camara of Dundee United have caught the eye. And likewise, there's been a goal at Tannadice, Tyrone.
Yeah, and it's another goal to Dundee United. It all came from a corner kick from the left-hand side. It was flicked on, and the beneficiary of the flick on was Bert Esselink, and he made no mistake, powering the ball into the net from 5 yards out to make it Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0.
Well, Aberdeen in all sorts of bother, heading for a 4th defeat in 5, yet to score a league goal. Here, that Hibs corner didn't come to much, and Falkirk managed to clear. Hibs coming again. Chaiwa, that just ran away from him into touch. Falkirk throw in, controlled by Lewis Nielsen, and will be interesting to see how John McGlynn uses his bench, because they have brought a few in terms of young lone players from down south. Ethan Williams is one. They've got Trey Samuel Ogunsuyi, a striker as well. There's a foul on Bowie again. Adams, and Bowie has already been booked. Callum Scott, the referee, is content it wasn't a caution. You're in territory of he's pointing all over the pitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure David Gray's thinking about taking him off now, taking Bowie off now. Well, in the next little while.
He only really plays with one setting, Kieran Bowie, and it's full throttle. It's a Falkirk free kick, 10-12 yards in from the right touchline, and about halfway up, just less than, the Hibs half. Spencer goes short to Calvin Miller, and then Spencer offers the overlap. Miller comes in on the left foot, crosses, headed away by Barlasser as far as McCann, the left back, out to the left-hand side. It's a decent ball in, and it drops from McIver. Didn't expect it to, and it kind of ran away from him. And then there's a Falkirk, Hibernian free kick, I should say, in their own box, and that move will break down. Falkirk 1, Hibernian 2, 55 played. And Aberdeen 2 down. Tannadice United scoring through Dolcek in the first half, Esselink in the second so far. And well, that's good news for Falkirk at least, because they won't be, as it stands, heading towards the bottom. On 4 points so far after their win at Pittodrie, draw with United on the opening day here. Defeats by Livingston and St Mirren, as Obita fires it up to Bowie. Controls and tried to lay it to McGrath, but Falkirk turn it over, and Spencer goes back to Henderson, and then Nielsen stands on it with the studs, goes to Brad Spencer forwards, back to Nielsen, who's just crossed halfway. He's going to send it towards the edge of the area. McIver tries to flick it with the back of his boot. It's a tussle for the ball and runs out for a Falkirk throw-in halfway up Hibs territory. It's been a decent enough start to this second half for Falkirk, but they could do with a bit more goal-mouth action. And I think Hibernian are going to make a sub, and I think Kieran Bowie is going to be withdrawn for record signing Thibaut Clige. And that's over the head of McIver, or sorry, it wasn't McIver, it was Dylan Tate up there. Bashiri clears, and then now it's run out on the far side by Mulligan.
Just a bit untidy Hibs just now, and I think it's the tempo of the game that Falkirk are setting. A bit like the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. It's out to Keelan Adams, the Falkirk right back. Crosses from deep. Bashiri misses it altogether, and then Miller was coming in at the back post, and he was kind of unsighted, and it just hit off him and falls for Salinger to gather. Yeah,
I think he's going to try and get his head on that. I think he tried to take a touch. It was a really, really difficult opportunity. I mean, the ball's bounced away up. He just gets his head on it and takes a chance. It loops in the far corner.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting Bashiri to miss that.
Yeah.
He just got nowhere near it really in the end. Chiwa wins the header, and then McGrath spreads it out to Nicky Cadden. Cadden with Adams in front of him. He's going to go down the outside, but Adams is really quick one-on-one. He's done brilliantly, Keelan Adams. What a find he has been.
There is no chance that Nicky Cadden will outrun Adams. No chance.
He's absolutely rapid. The man plucked from the Lowland League by John McGlynn. Still doing it in the Premiership as McIver drops in and gives it out to Tate, and then back to Spencer. And we're still waiting for that Hibernian sub to be made. Clige is out receiving instructions as Obita nicks that away from Tate, and then Cadden with a big switch of the left boot. Martin Boyle's made a run, controls it brilliantly on the edge of the box, goes on the outside of McCann. McCann has recovered well, and it's a goal kick.
You saw what Nicky Cadden was good at there. I mean, that was an outstanding pass from the left area.
So it is going to be Kieran Bowie who is going to be withdrawn. Another industrious performance from the 23-year-olds. Was involved in the second goal with his shot blocked, and it fell for McGrath, who did the rest. Lovely shimmy and finish. Bowie on a yellow card, and I don't know if you'd say he was fortunate to avoid a second, but he certainly was getting stuck in with a few fouls thereafter.
I thought it was unfortunate to get the first yellow card, and I mean, there was 3 or 4 incidents, but it was just over enthusiasm.
And Thibaut Clige is on, the man who Hibs paid over $1 million for. He's been a substitute all season, apart from a couple of starts. The League Cup, scored against Livingston in the 2-0 win. Can he make an impact in the final 31 minutes at the Falkirk Stadium? Falkirk 1, Hibernian 2, live on Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland Extra, and BBC Sounds via the BBC Sport app and website as well. Dundee United 2-0 up against hapless Aberdeen at Tannadice in the other Premiership game this evening. Here 1-0 up against 10-man Dunfermline in the Championship. St Johnstone 2-0 up against Airdrie as Bashiri clears, and it deflects off a Falkirk player, flicked on by Cliche. Forwards, Chiwa returns it, and then it's with Cartwright who can't control, and immediately McGrath's on top of him and winning it for Hibs. Out to Nicky Cadden on this near side. Obita's overlapped from centre back, and he gets it. Jordan Obita, step over and then goes down, and he's looking for the free kick off Williams, but I think he'd lost the ball before he went down there.
Yeah, it was never getting a free kick there, no chance.
Yeah, he kind of put a step over in and then fell over. It was as if he thought he was a left back again rather than a left centre half. As he went down and then was looking rather pleadingly for the free kick, which was never coming. Barlasser goes back to Rocky Bushiri. More live football action to come on Sports Sound tomorrow night. Celtic away in Belgrade, starting their Europa League campaign against Red Star. 8 o'clock kickoff in that one. And then Thursday, it's Rangers' turn at Ibrox up against Genk. Live commentary on that one as well, right here on Sports Sounds. Keelan Adams into McIver, who's turned that away to Williams. Floats one in the direction of Miller, but it's Mulligan who wins it. And Mulligan is being pressured by Miller and goes back to his goalkeeper, who clears it first time high into the night sky. It's headed to McGrath, who just boots it first time. Good vision to pick out Nicky Cadden, or perhaps he just put it into an area. Either way, it's Cadden who's put the head down and racing forward. Adams has come across. Cadden crosses from deep. Touch from Clige, and he's looking for the corner. He's going to get it. Came off Henderson.
He really is. Nicky Cadden's an outstanding crosser of the ball, particularly when he's running at pace. You know, a couple of times you saw him pass from deep. He was in the final third there. Really good ball into a good area.
Yeah, we saw that last season from Nicky Cadden. 7 assists and 5 goals in 32 appearances. It was an injury-affected campaign, but still an outstanding one. I think Hibs fans were a bit annoyed he didn't make the team of the year. And James Penrice got in front of him just to make matters worse. A Hearts player.
I've managed both of those players.
Obviously your impact, Ian, as McGrath delivers this corner on top of Scott Bain, who gets a punch on it to the edge of the box. Barlasser, and then Cadden sends one into the Hibs fans behind the goal.
That wasn't his finest hour. He got that off me. But Falkirk haven't tweaked anything. I don't know if it's because of the goal. I mean, maybe Cartwright is playing a wee bit further forward now. Brad Spencer's really the pivot now. He's playing really, really deep. But they just keep on playing, you know, the way they've been playing for 2 or 3 seasons.
And here is Miller, and he slips one for the onrushing fullback Adams, and he nicks it round Cadden, and Bashiri had to come across and lash it behind for a corner to the home side.
That's just that pace and desire from Keelan Adams there. Absolutely terrific. Got on the end of it. You know, Bashiri did really well to get there. I feel like Adams gets a touch on it at all, it's a Stonewall penalty kick.
Yeah, we're obviously praising Nicky Cadden going forward. That's a couple of times, especially for the goal he got done as well.
I think they've targeted that. I definitely think John McGlynn has targeted that.
Corner to Falkirk. Ethan Williams has come across though for a short option. Martin Boyle is sort of covering it, but not really, as it goes short to Williams. Crosses with the right foot. Header into the bottom corner. Equaliser. Falkirk have scored. Liam Henderson with a crucial touch, glances it, bottom corner, and it is Falkirk to Hibernian 2. The Bairns have come from 2 down.
Listen, absolutely outstanding header from Henderson. He's been really, really good all night. You know, bows went off. A great cross from Ethan Williams, great corner. You know, and it all came from Keelan Adams just going that extra wee bit to get a corner. But listen, what a header. Goalie rooted, no chance.
Well, he's put in a really strong performance, Liam Henderson. You mentioned it, Ian, that pre-match he stepped up to this level well, and okay, they've conceded 2 goals, but he's been not doing a lot wrong from up here. And a stunning comeback from Falkirk. And listen to this place now, and it's another corner, turned behind by Bashiri. And the momentum in this game has completely switched, and Hibs' defensive woes this season coming back to haunt them again. And it's the same side as Henderson just scored from, and Williams is trotting across once more to offer the short option.
Oh, don't take it short after you've just scored.
That's what they do. And it's Williams onto the right foot, cuts it back to Miller, right on the edge of the area, back to Williams, who's going to deliver with a left foot. This time, really dangerous ball into the 6-yard box. It just needed a touch from Cartwright, too far in front of him, and the keeper gathers.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but I think they've got to stick that ball in with the quality of the first one and see, test Hibs again, with people attacking the ball in the central area.
Well, Hibs won one of their first 14 last season, and these defensive issues were everywhere. Individual errors undoing some other good work. David Gray eradicated that. They lost just 3 of their final 24 league games, but this season it's just not quite the same rigidity in terms of the defensive play, because they're conceding goals.
I think there's more goals in this game.
Absolutely, as Spain plays it out to Lewis Nielsen. Bain into Spencer in midfield, and Falkirk just trying to play their way out, as Ian says, just playing the same way, sticking to their process, not getting rattled, not getting deterred, as Henderson launches a brilliant ball towards Williams. It's won by Obita, and that's a clumsy back pass unsighted from Barlasser, and Salinger had to boot it away as Miller was running through. Henderson's dropped off to deal with this ball under pressure from Martin Boyle, who's going to nick it, forces it backwards to Nicky Cadden. Martin Boyle on the touchline, back to Nicky Cadden infield, and then Barlasser let that run for Chaiwa. Square for O'Hora now, out to Mulligan on the right. He drops the shoulder and looks to drive, and then hesitates and turns back and finds Chaiwa at the corner of the area. Chaiwa, and then there's a slip there from a Hibs player. Good interchange at the edge of the box. Mulligan's involved. Chaiwa the strike, blocked. Ethan Williams.
Oh, that was a
kick,
foul.
Edge of the box.
You're right, bought the free kick. Spot on, Thomas.
As forwards like to do, just feels the nudge and goes down, and it was warmly applauded by the fans here at the Falkirk Stadium. Hibernian have drawn 5 of their last 6 league games going back to last season. The last time they drew more in a row was when Paul Heckingbottom drew 6 in a row in his final few games that ended up being as Hibernian manager. So it's also, they've got a habit of scoring all their, or not all of them, but a lot of them since May, scoring 11 of their last 16 goals have come in the first half, another 2 today, whereas all Falkirk's league goals until today had come in the second half of games this season.
Well, it was nearly the second half.
Yeah, it was, yeah. 45 plus 1. So Chaiwa barrels away from Brad Spencer, who had no option but to haul him down, and that'll be a booking for the Falkirk captain. And that's a valuable one for Hibs as they try and get themselves back in front. 2-0 up. We've played 68, and David Gray will be furious. They've managed to let Falkirk back in this game, and Hibs free kick on halfway. I'm just waiting for that. The referee was saying something there, but on we go as Hibs ready to launch this. Falkirk with a very high line. So Beta receives the short one, and then it's chipped for by Hibs to the edge of the box. So Horace header for Cadden on the left. Now it's McGrath, slides it to Cadden. He's going to cross. It's a dangerous one. Bashiri goes off. He misses it completely, as does Martin Boyle behind him. I just thought Bashiri was going to power that on target there. He's had the goal scoring touch this season, Rocky Bashiri.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got a call. I think Boyle gave him a call. I think it was quite high for him, and Boyle had the better chance. Just totally miscued the volley.
Keelan Adams driving out of defence for Falkirk, up to the halfway line, passes it to Williams, touch into McGrath, and then he feeds Cliche. The record signing back to Bashiri, then O'Hora across to Obita on the other side of the back three. Nicky Cadden hugging the touchline, then inside ball to McGrath, back to Cadden, goes for one of his deep crosses, and then a leg goes out from Liam Henderson, and fortunately for him it breaks for his partner Lewis Nielsen, and then up to Williams and back to Adams, who just clips it up towards halfway, and that was a blatant shove from McIver there, and Hibs will get the free kick. Nothing subtle about that one from the Falkirk number 9 and goal scorer this evening. Hibs keen to up the tempo and get on with it. McGrath over on the left hand side, Barlasser, Obita sends it down the left hand side, and Clege's made a good run, edge of the box. Nielsen can't get there, in towards Boyle, flicked away by Henderson again. up to McIver, who chests it to Dylan Tate, and Miller's made a run here, as has Williams, but it's a poor pass out for the throw-in.
The tired pass there, I thought. I'm just thinking the Falkirk right-hand side is absolutely rapid. Adams and Williams, like really, really quick.
Yeah.
And listen, it's one of the most important things in football, but it's not the most important, but it covers a multitude of sins.
Up to Thibaut Clige, who comes off and drops it to Obita at the halfway line. Nicky Cadden. Falkirk 2, Hibs 2. Hibs were 2-0 up in the first half, thanks to a Boyle penalty and a McGrath finish into the far corner. Ross McIver pulled one back in first half stoppage time from Williams, good cross into the 6-yard box, and then a Liam Henderson header after a short corner delivered by Williams. Henderson crashed the header home, and it's 2-2. And here come Hibs though. Clige down the left hand side of the box, moves it onto the right foot, and then he goes for goal, and that was drifting wide, but Scott Bain stopped it anyway. Let's get an update from Tannadice.
Yeah, it's Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0 midway through the second half, and to be honest with you, United should be further ahead. They played with a real spring in their step. They could have been further ahead. As I say, another powerful Dolchek shot to produce another good save from Mitov, and Vichko Savej, he's just seen a long-range effort drift just wide here at Tannadice, where it's Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0.
United utterly in control. I think Falkirk are going to make 2 changes shortly, but it's Nicky Cadden, and that cross to the back post. Boyle keeps it in. No, he doesn't. Looked like he had initially, but it's a goal kick. I think we're going to see Arfield and Aguiman, so you tell me, Ian, whether John McGlynn's going to settle for a point here.
Listen, he will not settle for a point. There's absolutely no chance of that. I don't know who he's going to take off, but it could be the 2 wide players, albeit I still think Williams is a real threat just now. Tate looks a little bit leggy for me. Maybe Arfield goes in his position.
Yeah, I'm hearing Brian Graham may also be emerging as well. So,
well, he's got a goal in him, that's for sure.
Yeah, we saw that here in Falkirk's last game. A classic Brian Graham header, clambering over the defender and bulleting it into the far corner after a good McCann cross. Falkirk 2, Hibs 2. Here's Nielsen. Studs the ball and goes back to Scott Bain. Little loose touch, but he's under no pressure. And Bain clips it up to McIver. Misses it, but as does Bashiri, who went with him. Now with Barlasser. Out to Mulligan. Wonder if we'll see any action on the Hibs bench. 1-2. Puts Mulligan over halfway, and he's running at the Falkirk defence here. That powerful stride of Josh Mulligan. He goes down. Referee says there was nothing in that, and Falkirk look to launch a counter. Miller nips in ahead of O'Hora. Now it's Spencer. Spencer up to Williams and then plays it to Miller. He's a mile offside, but if he leaves this for McIver, McIver was on. McIver is on, left hand side of the box. Numbers in the area. It's still McIver onto the right foot, saved by the foot of Salinger.
Great play, Ross McIver. Really, really good save by Salinger as well.
Drilled it low near post. The goalkeeper was equal to it, and it's the home fans you can hear over on the far side. So Aguiman, Graham and Arfield coming on, and it's going to be Tate as one of those. Miller has another one to come off. And listen to the home fans. And McIver, that shot was his last act. And what a shift it's been as the 3 subs are made. All attacking changes, pretty much like for like.
It is. You know, Brian will play centre forward. I think Arfield will play off him. Aguiman will play where Tavern Miller was, wide on the left.
And Brian Graham, I tell you, if you're struggling in the box defensively, he's not a man you really want to see coming on. Throwing on the far side to Falkirk, just short of the Hibs box, as we wait for this to be delivered. 74 on the clock, and it is delivered, and then breaks for McGrath, and poor touch from Clige. Won by Falkirk. Now it's with Adams just outside the centre circle, Hibs territory. Williams flicks it up and brings it down again. Goes back to Lewis Nielsen. A reminder, Dundee United 2-0 up at Tannadice against Aberdeen, and that's pressure from Chaiwa, and then Nielsen underhit with a pass back to Bain, who just manages to leather it away, and then he's caught by Chaiwa, who is, I think, going to get booked, much like Kieran Bowie was earlier for a similar offence.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I mean, there was a slight thing. He got touched a little bit, Bain, but again, he's rolling about, and now he's back up absolutely fine. I mean, it may be a booking, but the ball was there to be won. He had to try and get it. Nielsen's been slack 2 or 3 times, lose it, not use the ball quick enough.
Yeah, just a bit lackadaisical. It's almost that thing where your team's confident and you feel the momentum's with you, and you're almost a wee bit too
That's
relaxed.
when you be really sharp, when you're feeling like be even sharper.
Aguiman controls it, and he's running down the left touchline, driving towards the byline. Can he keep it in? He does. Not the best, but Arfield retrieves it back to Aguiman. Can he deliver on the right foot? Drops it back to McCann, who curls it to the back post, where Williams goes up. He's clambering on top of his man, and the free kick is given.
A pretty clear foul, that one.
Yeah, I was surprised the near side linesman didn't flag for that straight away. The referee put the whistle to the lips. Cooper has made it Airdrieonians 1, St Johnstone 2, so life in that game yet, with 16 to play in the championship. It was Gullen and Sidibe that put St Johnstone 2 up earlier in that game. I think Dunfermline, 10-man Dunfermline, still trailing Ayr United by a 1-0 at East End Park. Neil Lennon up against Scott Brown on the touchline. Falkirk throw. Williams, who has been impressive on his first start. Ian.
He has. I mean, he's linked well with Adams. I mean, there's been a part of the game plan to knock it in the space beyond, because Nicky Cadden goes, really high up the pitch, and Abita doesn't want to come out into that wider area.
Lewis Nielsen at the back for Falkirk. I was going to say an aimless ball, but he's managed to find Aguiman. Couldn't control it though, and Hibs have it. Steps forwards. Cadden on the left hand side. Adams meets him. Back to Barlasser, and then Obita, and then Bashiri to O'Hora, then Mulligan into Barlasser back to O'Hora, under pressure, fires it forwards, controlled by Henderson, then back to Nielsen, who clips it over halfway, and Arfield goes up, headed, and it's Bashiri out defence, Mulligan forwards, won by Cartwright. Spencer controls it just short of halfway. Falkirk have the ball, and no question they've been the better team in the second half.
Yeah, do you know, it's the enthusiasm they're showing for the game as well. It's tremendous.
Going to be a couple of Hibs changes incoming. I think Chris Cadden and Junior Hoylett, as Nicky Cadden miscues that clearance, and now it's Scott Arfield, middle of the pitch, up to Aguiman, edge of the D, bobbing and weaving, and somehow still has it. Gives it to Spencer out to Adams, right hand side of the box. Keelan Adams going to have a go at Obita, slides the cross in, and Cartwright had peeled off. Hibs get the block in, offside flag is up. It remains Falkirk 2, Hibernian 2 after 78 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Falkirk definitely in the ascendancy. Hibs need to change something to try and get a win and goal.
Well, they're going to change something in terms of personnel here, because Junior Hoylett and Chris Cadden are stripped and ready to go, and so we await the fourth official. It looks like it's going to be Martin Boyle and Miguel Chaiwa who are going to come off, and up to Nielsen, heads it to Chaiwa. Those changes not been made quite yet. Hibs come down the right hand side through Mulligan, underhit cross, but Boyle's made something of it, got a touch on it. Henderson mops up in the box for Falkirk, and it goes to Aguiman. Falkirk trying to break. Hibs have numbers back. Aguiman halfway up his own half. Cartwright lays it to Adams, the right back, asks the right back to kind of shuffle across to retrieve it, and he was under a wee bit of pressure from Boyle, so he just swipes it forward, and Bashiri will gather. Knock it to Obita. Falkirk 2, Hibernian 2, Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0 in the Premiership tonight. Here comes Nicky Cadden. His inside ball is blocked by Cartwright. It's going to run for a Hibernian throw-in about 7 or 8 yards from the corner flag down on this near side. And here come the changes. And Martin Boyle, who got the scoring started with his penalty after half an hour, comes off for Junior Hoylett, and Chris Cadden on for Miguel Chaiwa, who has been booked. So he's been impressive though, Ian, hasn't he?
He can play all right. I mean, I love the way he gets over the ground. He moves over the really quick feet. He can get himself out of tight situations. Drives with the ball in the middle area. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to watch him again. Terrific.
Jordan Obita is preparing to throw this into the box. Obita throws it to McGrath, controls, moves towards the touchline. Hibs looking for a winner, and the referee signals that that's a Hibernian throw. Falkirk and their fans disagree, but it will be Obita. Barlasser comes across and then shuffles away. Obita waiting for a bit more movement, I think. Hoylett eventually comes over and receives it, and then let that run out of play, and it will be a Falkirk throw-in the spot where they wanted one 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, it was poor. I mean, Obita's come up in the back to take a long throw, and he's thrown it short twice.
Yeah, just a bit of a lack of urgency from Hibs. It was, or a miscommunication, because there were people queuing up in the middle waiting for the throw, and then the movement, therefore the movement didn't come for Obita. Was looking for a short option. A bit of a weird one, as Brian Graham wins that and plays it in behind looking for Aguiman, but Shiri goes down and the referee says he was fouled.
Yeah, just sometimes you've got to temper that enthusiasm. I mean, he did really, really well to try and get on it, but then just hold him up. Bashiri's, he's got nowhere else to go.
Yeah. Hibs on course for 4 successive draws in the Premiership, as Callum Scott indicates the throw in for Falkirk on halfway, and 8.5 minutes of the 90 minutes remaining, and it's Falkirk 2, Hibs 2. Falkirk battling back from 2-0 down. Thrown up to Brian Graham, controls on the chest. He's forced back to halfway and then goes square with a pass to Keelan Adams. Adams is going to drive forward and feed Ethan Williams. Williams standing up. Nicky Cadden drops the shoulder, delivers with the left foot straight to Obita, who heads it half away, and then Mulligan tussling, but it's won by Aguiman, and Williams goes from distance, but it was always curling a mile wide of the target.
Yeah, he just got a wee bit excited there. I mean, he's been terrific tonight. I think he's looking a little bit tired, and you know, he's a young lad. He's played whatever it is, 81, 82 minutes, but even before he didn't, when he had 1-on-1 against Obita, who's playing centre back in the wide area, he just cut inside and crossed it rather than trying to go to the line.
Just shy of 7,500 at the Falkirk Stadium this evening. Terrific crowds, hardly unexpected, given the crowds Falkirk have been turning out even in League One, as Lewis Nielsen heads forward to halfway. Ethan Williams, is there going to be a winner? Not a great deal of chances in the second half. Henderson's header equalising for Falkirk, and McIver had that shot saved just before he was replaced, as Nicky Cadden goes back to Barlasser. Heavy touch and Arfield wins it. Breaks for Obita though on the touchline. Fires it in for Cliche, but won by Adams. Adams looking up and he picks a brilliant pass for Aguiman. Centre circle and he's opening up now. Aguiman driving at the heart of the Hibs defence. Gives it to Brian Graham, but he's asking a lot of a 37-year-old, but he does keep it in on the left touchline. Corner to the back post. Arfield's touch blocked. Arfield goes after it, picks up the seconds, gives it to Williams, lets it run across his body, and offloads to Adams on the right-hand side. Adams. And there is a lull, a nervous silence at the Falkirk Stadium. Could Falkirk truly complete this comeback and get themselves 3-2 in front with only 6.5 minutes left of the 90? Here is Nielsen. Nielsen into Adams. Here's Obita in front. Gives it to Ethan Williams. Williams digs at the cross. Oh, and then Salinger spilled that initially. Luckily for him, there was no one in a blue jersey there to profit. Remains 2-2. Hibs, I think David Gray, they had chances in the first half before they eventually got themselves 2 in front, but I feel they'd be disappointed. They've not really created much in the second half.
I think Falkirk dominated the whole of the second half. I thought, you know, Boyle and Bowie had great chances before Hibs scored their 2 goals. Since then, you've got to give, you know, that goal in the 45th minute is pivotal to the whole game, and Falkirk dominated the whole second half.
O'Hora at the back for Hibernian. On course for another draw. Would be 4 in a row in the Premiership, as it's headed into midfield, flicked on by Arfield for Williams. That was the pass for Brian Graham, but intercepted by Hibernian, who now look to attack down the far side through Chris Cadden. Cadden up the line for Hoylett and Mulligan, I think, now in midfield by the look of it, with Cadden out on the right, as Bashiri to Obita. Then Nicky Cadden on the left-hand touchline, slides it down the line, and the run's made by Josh Mulligan, and he just about looked like he was getting away from Cartwright, but he got a touch on it, and then even better for the Falkirk midfielder, it came back off Mulligan, and it's a goal kick, 2-2.
Yeah, good run by Mulligan. You're right, it's both Cadden's playing wing back, yeah.
Plenty of energy there, that's for sure. And there's going to be 2 Hibs changes. There's going to be Josh Campbell is coming on for Jamie McGrath, and the other one is Dylan Levitt, who is going to come on for Dan Barlasser. So changes in that midfield area. Josh Gary Oliver is also stripped and ready to come on for Falkirk, and Josh Campbell has his critics among the Hibs support, but he is sometimes good for a goal, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's been no change in shape for Hibs. They're still doing the same thing, just the personnel within it has changed a little bit.
And Ethan Williams, what a first start it's been for him.
Yeah, he's done well.
An assist after recovered well from giving away the penalty. Not that there's much he could have done with a handball, but brilliant assist, or 2 assists I should say. First cross from McIver, and then the one that he whipped in after the short corner for Henderson. So superb for him, the Man United loanee. And on comes Gary Oliver for his first Premiership minutes of the season. Up to Brian Graham. Bashiri wins it, and Henderson asking for the goalkeeper, and there's 2 of them there, and then Bain did get there, and it was a decent enough touch which found Leon McCann. Crosses halfway, but then is forced back by Mulligan, and then back out to Spencer, who takes no chances and goes all the way back to Scott Bain. They just have 3.5 minutes left of the 90, and flicked on. Aguiman putting Cadden under pressure. He's blocked the clearance. Aguiman breaks for Arfield down the left-hand side of the area. Scott Arfield, cross, Brian Green with a header. Salinger got something on it, and it's hooked clear by Josh Campbell, and the free kick is given anyway in Hibs' favour, 2-2.
Yeah, I think it was done because Brian was jumping with the goalkeeper there, Brian Graham, sorry. I'm not sure that is a foul. I mean, it was great play, great header from Graham, and then Arfield got on it, and really good burst past his opponent. I thought it was a really nice ball. I thought the goalie did really well under pressure. I don't think it was a foul.
Yeah, I think they've given that for offside in the end. Right, let's go to Tannadice for a quick update.
Yeah, 6 minutes left here at Tannadice. It's still Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0. The Dons, in fairness, since they went 2-0 down, they've started looking at least something of an attacking force. They've had a couple of decent opportunities since we last spoke. The best of them was a Stuart Armstrong long-range effort, which rebounded back off the crossbar. Adil Ashishi's volleyed over from just a few yards out, and just a few moments ago it was Jesper Karlsson's turn to have a pop, but his effort whistled just over the bar. It's Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 0.
So Dundee United heading for the points, move on to 8 points, and that would take them above Hibs, who are going to go on to 7 as it stands. 2 minutes left here at the Falkirk Stadium, and it's 2-2. Still time for a winner, plenty time for a winner. Falkirk have looked the more likely, but they haven't managed to find a breakthrough, having equalised in the second half through Liam Henderson. Headed forward by Hageman. O'Hora just inside Falkirk's half, gives it to Chris Cadden, and his pass is straight into touch. Falkirk throw in.
Yeah, although Falkirk at times defensively in the first half are poor, if you're to pick a man of the match, I think, you know, there's been a lot of skillful players done really well in the game, but Liam Henderson for me has been absolutely terrific.
Yeah, another player they've trusted to step up all the way from League One, and played for Edinburgh City, Arbroath as well. Looks comfortable back there, as Ian says, and it's thrown forwards. Hibs win it. Campbell goes across, but recovered by McCann, and then it's out for a throw-in. Hibs looking for inspiration. They created plenty in the first half, not so much in the second. Not really anything of note, apart from that maybe Bashiri missed header or leave for Martin Boyle, who miscued, but I don't think Baines really had a save to make in the second half, as Spencer goes over the shoulder, breaks back, and then falls now for Falkirk and Aguiman. He's over halfway, gives it out to the left-hand side, and then a little reverse pass, breaks into midfield. Campbell's won it, and Cartwright challenged for it. Hibs are looking for the free kick, but instead Falkirk are going to get the throw in. And I think it's thrown back now to Brad Spencer, shuffles across the halfway line. to Lewis Nielsen with a pass. 4 added minutes signalled by the 4th official, and it's Falkirk 2, Hibernian 2. The Falkirk fans feel a winner is here, and they get a first home league win of the season. Fired into Brian Graham, touch into the path of Arfield, but it was just overhit. Arfield regathers though, goes back to McCann. McCann driving for the byline, sliding challenge blocked. It's behind for a Falkirk corner.
Yeah, the Falkirk fans believe a good delivery into the box and maybe getting the winner.
And why not? They've played the better stuff in the second half. Corner on the far side. And they've scored from one already, but no one's offering the short option this time. There's only one place this is going. And it's stood up, or the referee was unhappy with something. This is going to be retaken. Don't know if he was negotiating some pushing and shoving and wasn't ready for that one, but anyway, take 2. We've played one of the 4 added minutes. It remains 2-all. Falkirk corner, attacking the Kevin McAllister end. The corner comes in, and then it's flicked away by Campbell and out to the other side of the box. Gary Oliver now on the right hand side for Falkirk. Cross from Henderson into the area, glanced by Levitt. McCann controls in the middle of the pitch, up to the edge of the box. Brian Graham on the turn, he's offside. Chance gone, 2-all.
For a minute there, young Leo McCann thought about hitting that. He was 45 yards out, and he was going to try and hit it in a half volley. He's been impressive. Another young lad that's been impressive.
Yeah. And Brian Graham's eyes lit up for a split second, but he just hadn't got back on side in time as it goes into the Falkirk half. Breaks for Aguiman though. Powering down the left hand side, Alfredo Aguiman. He's caught by Chris Cadden and he's looking for the free kick. And he's going to get the...
And this is only going one place.
Yeah. He's going to get the decision. No, he's not. He's going to get the throw in at least, but he's not getting the free kick. As the Falkirk Stadium finds its voice in stoppage time. Falkirk have come from 2 down to level with the 3rd best team in the country last season, Hibernian. Can they find a winner? Big switch out to the corner of the box. Again it breaks for Aguiman, he's going after it. Good sliding challenge from Chris Cadden. Throw into Falkirk though, and they're getting on with it really quickly. The referee wasn't happy with how quickly they took it.
He's done Falkirk a favour there because he threw it straight to a Hibs player.
We've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds left of stoppage time. Are we in for a dramatic ending at the Falkirk Stadium? Throw into Falkirk, halfway up Hibs territory. And it's thrown to Spencer. Spencer feeds Nielsen just over halfway up to Keelan Adams. You can see what he's trying to do, just wait for Nicky Cadden to come tight and then put it round him, but it was a poor touch and into touch, and it's a Hibs throw. And Obita is going to take, flings it up the line. Adams flicked header, Nielsen comes across, played that off Hoylett I think, did he? No, yes he did. And Hoylett's querying it, Ian, but I felt it was probably the right decision.
Yeah, I think it was, it's right in front of us. Yeah.
Well, it's the Falkirk fans in full voice as Keelan Adams launches it up the line. Brian Graham glancing header, Aguiman and Graham getting back involved, finds Arfield, right touch line. His pass is intercepted by Levitt, who just lashes it down the field with the right foot. Liam Henderson up against Clegier, who gets a flick on it. Nielsen back, Henderson tussling again with Clegier, breaks into midfield for Josh Mulligan, and there is the full-time whistle. What a comeback from Falkirk. The only disappointment for John McGlynn and his players, who sink to the AstroTurf, is that they couldn't finish it off in terms of getting a first home league win of the season. But nonetheless, a brilliant performance, particularly second half, where they were undoubtedly the better sides. Hibernian will have plenty of regrets. They created quite a lot of chances in the first half, didn't take a couple, then got a couple of goals. Martin Boyle from the penalty spot after Ethan Williams was penalised after a VAR check for handball. Jamie McGrath with a shimmy and finish into the far corner that made it 2. And they were really in control at that stage until Williams teed up McIver in first half stoppage time to pull one back for Falkirk. It proved pivotal, because then after the break, a short corner to Williams, whipped onto the head of Henderson. He planted it into the bottom corner, and it squared it for Falkirk. not too many chances, clear chances at either end in the second half. McIver had a shot well saved at the near post by Salinger before he was withdrawn for Brian Graham. Hibs created little of note after the break, and it's a 4th consecutive draw for David Gray's men. Just the 1 win for Hibs this season in the league, and just the 1 win for Falkirk as well, but they will emerge from this game with immense credit after coming from 2 down to draw 2-2 here at the Falkirk Stadium. Full time, Falkirk 2, Hibernian 2.